Hey girls, so I've been wanting to do this video for a long time now, and this is going to be part 2 of my, I don't even have like a name for it. I'm like getting comfy on my couch here, for my Black girl servers make money. I gotta find a name to call this series. This is part 2. The first one was more so directed at the public, like you need to tip your servers, because I don't think people know proper restaurant etiquette. And I said if you are unable to tip your server, you should not go out to eat. Going out to eat is a whole thing. You have someone come up to your table, take your order, bring you drinks, clean your table, clean your mess. So a part of that is you need to tip. That's just a part of eating out. And if you don't want to tip, you shouldn't eat out. That's just point blank period. But this video is directed to Black girls who are in the service industry and Black girls who are interested to be in the service industry, or you don't even have to be Black if you want to watch this video, okay? Now, I did direct this to Black girls because being a server, just being a Black anywhere, that things are set up against you. And being a server, I've seen white girls help each other out. If they're leaving, like one thing when you're a server, when you're leaving, you kind of either wait on your table. Some places are nice, they'll let you wait on your tables. Some places are like, you got to get off my clock, and they'll let you wait on your table off the clock. And some places are like, you just got to transfer them over. Like you got to. So I've seen people transfer 3 or 4 of their tables to their friends. So their friends are getting that tip money. They've done all the work, but they're not over here like, let me divvy it up. There's 3 girls. Let me, give each of the girls a table. No, they're looking out for their friend. And in most cases, the white girls are friends with their other white girls. That's just the way it is. So, and sometimes, especially in the service industry, because not a lot of Black girls go into the service industry, you are the lone server, and you got to kind of be your own cheerleader, and you got to do things to make sure you make your own good money, okay? So these are tips to help you out to make the most possible money that you can make. On top of that, as you all know, I have a regular corporate job. I'm back in school. And I've said before that serving is a great way if you are a college student, if you're a professional like myself and you're looking to make more money for whatever reason you need to do it, it is a great way. You also have to have a tough skin to be a server. I have learned you have to have patience, tough skin, patience to be a server. I am an introvert. I am a naturally introverted person, so serving should be the least field that I ever decide to get into. So this is also for you if you are an introverted, or you're just not a naturally extroverted person, or you're shy, to help you out, okay? So I came up with some 10 tips. If you are a server, especially if you're a Black server, and you have some tips to share, please leave them below. If you are a non-Black server and you have tips for us Black girls that we don't know the secrets, leave them below, okay? So my first tip is you need to go in not being politically correct. Well, actually, sorry. I want to say all of these tips are not politically correct. So that's not number 1. I just want to say these are not going to be politically correct tips. These are tips to try and help you get the most coin you can while you're at the job, okay? So my first tip is straight, long hair. You get a lot of tips when you have straight, long hair, especially if you have lighter hair. Have you ever heard that blonde hair, blue eyes servers make the most tips? Well, as a Black girl, when I've had my hair super straight and I've had it like super light brown with blonde highlights, I've noticed during those times I get not more tips, my tips are higher. So that's just the way it is. A lot of the people, in most cases, unless you're like in Atlanta where majority of the population is a Black population, if you're in another place where majority of the people coming in are probably going to be non-Black people, and you're serving guys, especially if you're like at a sports bar or something, the guys, They like seeing lighter hair, especially straight hair. Now, the opposite of that, another way to make good tips if you don't have straight light hair, is big curly hair, because it can be seen as exotic. So my hair is wavy right now, which actually is doing pretty well. But when I've had super big curly hair, I got the whole opposite of being a cookie cutter straight hair girl. You were the exotic girl. You stood out. So straight, long, light hair, or big, curly, exotic hair. Both ways I've made amazing tips, okay? So, or other words, yeah, weave works. Weave, people will tip you when you have a weave in. That's just the way it is. Like I said, this is not politically correct. When you are serving men, I've noticed that if you, like if you're going up to like a table of 6 guys, and if you lightly touch, kind of like, can I get you anything? Like, can I get you anything else? If just a light touch, it makes you feel more, it gives a more personal feeling. It doesn't have to be something flirty, just a light, do you guys need more drinks? A light touch. It makes them feel more familiar with you, more friendly. So when it is time to pay, they'll feel like they're tipping someone who they are friendly with, okay? You will give more money to someone that made you laugh, or you feel like was friendly to you, than someone that you consider like a stranger, or they were cold, or you just brought you your food, they didn't really engage with you. So a light touch, I'm sure some of you have heard this before, but it is true. A light touch definitely goes a long way, okay? Even with girls, like if they're in a booth, it's kind of impossible. But if you have a group of girls sitting at a table, and you can you like, hey girls, and you kind of like lightly like kind of touch one girl on the shoulder, you need anything else, girl? Like, it makes it feel more personal. You have to also be able to read your crowd. So if you have some girls with kind of attitude, don't touch them, because you don't know which way they're gonna flip. But if you have a group of girls and they're already being kind of friendly with you, it's okay to kind of like, girl, you need anything else? Are you girls okay? Kind of like a light touch. The touch for both sexes goes a long way. Boobs work. So I have naturally big boobs. They've always been big. So that is something I don't have to do. But if you don't have bigger boobs, if you can wear a push-up bra or something just to enhance yourself, you will get more tips. This can be a double-edged sword though, so you have to be careful with this. If you have big, like my boobs stand out, I can be covered in a turtleneck, they still stand out, okay? So you have to be careful. If you work in somewhere like Hooters, where guys are specifically coming there to look at you, then show all the boob you want. But if you're working in a sports bar or a restaurant where women are coming in, you want to be careful with the boobage, because no girl wants to sit there with her guy and you have all these boobs in her face. So if you have big boobs, or if you are enhancing your boobs, you still want to make sure you're not being overtly sexy with your boobs. Don't button so far down. One button down and it's still showing that you have boobage, go ahead. Like if I'm in an area, if I'm serving and it's mostly guys, maybe I'll have a second button down, because I can make up for that in tips with the guys. But if I notice I have some older ladies come in who might be a little bit stuffy, I'll go like to whatever little hot hidden space and kind of maybe button up a little bit, because I know I'm serving that table. You have to be aware of your crowd. So my next tip, this is 1, 2, 3, this is going to be number 4. If you have a couple, make sure you make more eye contact with the lady. I cannot stress this enough. So I've served tables where the girl and guy, they're both cool. The girl is extra cool. And I've served tables where the girl gives you so much attitude because she thinks either her guy thinks you're pretty, or you like her guy, or you're so pretty. Whatever the case is, as a server, you're going to serve couples, and you're going to have some situations where the girl doesn't like you just because you're a girl server. So even if I have a couple where the girl is super nice to me, or I have a couple where the girl is bitchy, I always avert most of my attention to the girl. So if I'm asking questions about drinks, are you both okay, I make eye contact with the girl. I don't do it creepily where I'm like, it looks like I'm purposely not looking at the guy, but instead of giving more attention to the guy, or even 50-50, I'll give 60% to the girl, 40% to the guy. So, and I've seen girls soften up when they notice that I'm giving more attention to them. There's been girls where they still are bitchy, and I've seen girls who are appreciative just because you're giving them more attention. But it is always in your favor to do that, okay? To give more attention to the girls. And I've had girls where I thought, like, God, they're not going to tip me well because she's already having attitude. But when the ones who soften up and they notice that you are giving more attention to them, they will end up tipping you more than you thought. You'll be like, oh, wow, I'm surprised they tipped me this much, because you thought they weren't. And a lot of times you can't think that the guy's going to pay, he's just going to tip you well, because one or two things is going to happen. He's going to pay the bill on the card, he's going to tip, and if she saw that he tipped too much, you're going to have issues if they ever come back. Like, you don't want to think that far, but I'm just speaking to you all. Or I've seen a lot of times where the guy will get his credit card out and the girl will take the machine and she will do the punching. So if she's doing the punching, I'm like, thank God I gave her most of the attention so she can tip me fairly, okay? So my next tip is cinch your waisted. If you I've worked at places where you have to wear like the little thing around your waist, and I've worked at places where you don't have to wear anything around your waist. Even if I've worked at places where you don't need to wear like a little apron thing around your waist, I still do, because you can tighten them, and what happens is it tends to make your waist look tinier. So it's like one of those other things, outward appearance. The way you wear your hair gets you more tips, having bigger boobs. And then also waist to hips ratio. Naturally, we know guys like girls who have a smaller waist compared to her hips. That's just kind of a scientific thing. So if you are able to make your waist smaller, even if you don't have a small waist, you can give the appearance of it being smaller just by cinching it in any kind of way you can, do it, okay? It's just an extra little tip. Another tip, appear busy even if you are not. And this has nothing to do with management or the owners. By the way, that's like a whole nother separate video I can do with, because working at place, I don't know why the service bar industry, bartender industry is just so drama filled. So if I could do a whole nother video on how to survive with management and coworkers, if you all want to see that, let me know. Or any videos you want to see. But this one is for customers. So if you are working in a place, especially if you have like an elderly couple, or you have, honestly, it can be anybody, even places where you have regulars, because I've had regulars, they're like, oh my God, you're always working, you're always doing something, you're always busy, and they tip you off of that. So you'll have a table, if you, look at it this way, if you have a table who's already kind of like a low tipper, right, or a table who doesn't tip, or whatever the case is, or a table who does tip, and you're standing around, you take their order, but they can kind of see you over there in the corner just chatting it up with your coworkers. The people who barely want to tip, they're going to feel justified in not tipping, because, I mean, it's not okay, but they're going to be like, what am I really tipping her for, bringing my food over? But when you appear like you're wiping tables, you're sweeping over there away from their food, you're wiping counters, you're making sure things are clean, they're going to feel like this girl is working, so she's working for more than just bringing a plate to my table, she's working for your tips. I've had people tip me more just on the fact that they see me cleaning tables and they see me wiping door handles. Like, they feel like my money is really justified. So if you can keep yourself busy, do so, okay? Okay, my next tip, this is number, what is this? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7. I thought I had 10 tips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I only have 9 tips. So this is number 7. If you work at a place where there are regulars and it's not your table, still make sure they're okay, still interact with them. So for instance, you'll sometimes have people who are your regulars, and even if you're not serving them, you're serving them, you'll still like just chat it up with them because y'all are cool. But you'll sometimes have people who maybe come in once a week or once every 2 weeks, and they're regular enough that you all recognize each other. And so say when you serve them, you give them good service. Well, when they come back, if they're not in your section and they're not your server and you're not their server, don't just ignore them, because they're going to eventually become yours again. And you don't want them to feel like you only talk to them or are nice to them because you want their money. So you do want the tips, but to make sure you get consistently good tips from these people, even if they're not your table. Say you walk by and you see that they're low on their drink, get them another drink and drop it off, because they'll remember, oh, what's the name? She wasn't even serving us and she still made sure we were okay. Go by and say, you guys need salt and pepper, your food tastes good, you need another drink, hand them a drink if they're not yours. Some places are more relaxed than others. If you can't get them a drink because it's a more formal place, it's not an informal place, just say, oh, I'll let blah 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 your server know to get you a drink, just so they know you're looking out for them. So make sure you check on people or continue to show interest in people who are not particularly yours that day, but they could be yours again. Okay. Number 8, get loose, have personality. I am introverted, so especially, not only am I introverted, so I'm not naturally a person who wants to be talkative to people, which is really funny because I'll tell people, I'm like, yeah, eventually once I get to know them, I'm like, yeah, I'm really introverted and I like stay home. And they're like, what? You're so friendly. You're so nice. You're not introverted. I'm like, no, I'm introverted. I grew up I'm not shy anymore, but I'm still introverted. I grew up really shy, really quiet. I'm no longer shy and quiet, but I still am very introverted. I like staying to myself. I like being home. I don't want to be around crowds. I don't like too much attention. So for someone who is introverted like me, it was really hard for me to get loose. Also, from someone who comes from a corporate background and who is used to being so formal, it was very hard for me to become loose and have just a crazy outgoing personality. It took me like a long time to get to that point. So if you don't have it, I understand, but you need to find it, okay? Because when you joke around and you make jokes and you laugh and you are interacting, and I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in your tips. I'll be at a table. Of course, if you're not busy, you can't be a chatty Cathy, but if you have a moment to engage with your table and tell them a quick story, and make them laugh, it's everything. It makes your job more fun. It gives you more tips. People, it just makes it makes everything more. So I've noticed once I've started, over time, my tips have gone way up just because my personality has begun to shine through. So find a personality and use it, even if it is fake it until you make it, okay? If you're going to be in a service industry and you're introverted or shy or whatever the case is, and you gotta be there, you might as well fake a personality to make more money, okay? And the last one that I wrote down is VLTs. So what VLTs are, if you are not sure what it is, if you're new to the service industry, VLTs are the gambling machines where people put money in and they, hit the button or whatever the VLT machine that your particular area will have, and they gamble to make money. If you can work in a place with VLTs, work in a place with VLTs. There's this in some stigma that if you work in a ritzy downtown area, you'll make more money. And talking to friends in the industry, as someone who's worked in a ritzy area, you will make the most money. This kind of be like a number 9 and 10 tip, because VLTs, but blue collar people tip way more than ritzy rich people, okay? So VLTs and blue collar places. So The reason why you will make more money if you're able to work at a place with VLTs, and most places with VLTs are going to be more mom and pop homey restaurants, which are the best places to work, I'm telling you. So when you work at places with VLTs, usually the place is smaller. There's not going to be 10, 9, 6, 5 servers on the floor. That's probably going to be you and one other person, 3 at the most. The less servers, the more money. You want it, but some people say, I'm a little all over the place with this because I got so many ideas bumping into my head. When you work at a larger place, there's going to be way more servers. And when you have way more servers, you are giving a section. Usually, your section, you will only be allowed for 5, if you're lucky, tables. So you have to wait for people to filter out and come into your section to make money. So you think the bigger the place, the more busy, you're making more money. Not necessarily. You can work at a mom and pop place that holds 30 people, and it's you and one other girl, and you both have the whole floor to yourselves. That's more tables, that's more money. So if you can work at a place like that, do it. When it comes to VLTs, so you're making your hourly wage, you're making your tips, but when people have VLT tickets, you want to be able to be the girl that's cashing the VLT tickets, because they will tip you. They'll just say they won $101.38. They'll just say, give me the $100, you keep the $1.38, and you can be like, $1.38. Well, 10, 12, 13 people are letting you keep their $2, their $1, their $5. That adds up overnight. You got like $30 and just change. Or they win, and some people, like, they'll just throw you a 5, a 10, a 15, or 20 just because they won. I've had times where I'm not the VLT girl, and just because it's a regular that's playing VLTs and they know you, they'll just hand. I've had VLT people hand me $100, $100. No lie. So you need to try and work at a place where there are VLTs, because you will make more money. Okay, I'm telling you. I've talked to people. I've been there. It is the truth. So blue collar people, before I forget, blue collar people are, especially blue collar guys, they're like your construction workers, your garbage guys, your mechanics. They will come to a bar, they will drink, and they will tip you a lot of money, especially if you are a pretty girl. Versus if you go to a place where the guys are in their suits, they want to hold onto their dollars because they want to make sure they can pay their bins off, okay? They're not going to tip you as much. Yeah, you'll have the times where they do tip you a lot because their bill ran up and they're tipping you the typical 15%. But you'll have, I've had blue collar workers, their bill is like 30, and the most they can tip me is 50%, and they're like, that's not enough. I want to be able to tip you more, so they'll tip me what they can on the machine, and they'll hand me cash. They will tip you. At the end of the day, blue collar workers tip you way more money. It's undisputed. I've talked to so many people. We've had talks about it. You want to work with blue collar workers. What else do I want to talk about? So those are my 10 tips. Now I'm just going to give you a little bit of thoughts that's in my head. So like I said, you want to work at a place where it's a smaller amount of girls, so you're not having sections. You want to work at a place where you don't have to tip out a bartender. You want to work, so you need to know how to serve your own drinks, because I've worked at places where the servers are their own bartenders. You're making your own drinks. You're making the drinks for your place, so which is a good thing, because you don't have to tip someone like a bartender for making your drinks as a server. If you're like, I don't know how to make drinks, I didn't know how to make drinks, but I learned. And you need to know like basic drinks. I think each country, like Canada will have their basic drinks you need to make. America will need to have their basic drinks. If you know how to make basic highballs like rum and coke, soda and vodka, just basic highballs, you'll be fine. You need to know how to make a Caesar or a Bloody Mary, a Long Island, what else? A Paralyzer, a couple shots like a Burt Reynolds or a Pickleback. Like, you just need to know a few basics, and if you don't, whatever else, you just keep a few of them in your head and keep a little notepad on you with like the most popular drinks. Google it. I have a little notepad, so if I forget a drink or I don't know a drink, I quickly flip and I'm like, oh, there we go. What else? Let's see. I don't know. There's so many things I could tell you, but I will be all over the place. If you have any ideas of more videos you would like me to do and you like this kind of series, please let me know. I am here to make sure us Black girls working in the service industry can make as much money, because other than these tips that I gave you for as far as customers and places that are better, having I've learned that having one person at least in your corner can make all the difference, especially if you are the lone Black girl. Being alone, I've had to learn how to survive being alone, but I have also seen how having one person in my corner has made all the difference. It has made life for me at certain places much easier. Okay, you will have people, I just want to quickly say this, you'll have people say things, you'll be serving and you'll hear in the background people say things, even regulars who you thought were cool say things, and you're like, oh my God, as a Black person, I don't want to serve them anymore, and I don't want anything to do with them. And I've had to learn how to take emotion out of my job, as long as they're not saying like some straight up disrespectful stuff. If I hear them talking about Trump and being a Trump supporter, I've had to learn how to block that, because I'm here to get my coins and I don't need to like them once I leave. Because like I've heard people say all lives matter, and I'm like, whew, girl, you're here to work. I've had one really funny thing happen, is that I had this table of 6 guys. They were all white guys, and I sometimes if it's like a really big group of white so there was this big group of 6 white guys, and I was serving them. And later on, one of the guys, he's like, he was coming from the restroom, and he asked me a question about something to me, and he's like, yeah, we're just having a good old boys meeting. And I'm like, a good old boys meeting? Like that, you know, as a Black person, that a good old boy. So I was immediately thrown off. But I had to say to myself, okay, you're almost at the finish line with this table. They're almost finishing. Just smile, finish your job so they can go. One of the guy who ended up saying that they were having a good old boys meeting, whatever, ended up tipping me, I forgot how much the bill was, but he tipped me $100. And that was way more than 50 or 60% of their bill. So by me continuing to be the funny, smiley server that I was, took emotion out of it, I got my money, and I never had to see these people again. Okay, so that's a bonus tip. Keep emotions out of your job. Don't let nobody walk all over you. Don't let other servers walk all over you. That's a whole nother story for another day. Don't let a customer say something crazy to you. But if you hear things in passing, if you hear things maybe you don't agree with politically or religiously, leave. Don't even engage it. Kind of laugh. Like, do whatever you got to do to get through it and get your money. Okay? So that's all I have for you all today. I'll see you in my next video. If you all like this, be sure to let me know, and I will make sure to do more videos in these series. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.